Hey, you ever been to Chancellor Park? That's where I live. My name is Tavin Dillard. I live in Chancellor Park. I mow lawns, mowing, edging, grass cutting legend. I sure am glad to join me here on this podcast. I want to let you know what's going on in my neck of the woods. Now, I started out years ago on the YouTubes and then the TikToks and the Instagrams now and the whatnots. I got the websites, the tavindillard.com, but right now, I want to clue you into what's happening in my neck of the woods on the Tavin Dillard podcast. You here? I'm here. I'm glad you joined me. Now I'm going to send it over to myself. This is like the pre-introduction, but let's get on to the real show today. I'm glad you joined me here. Bank, bank. Hey y'all guys, happy Halloweens. My name, you already know, is Tavin Dillard, and today's the last day of the Octobers. Oh my goodness gracious, what are you going to do? Do you got a kiddo dressing up like the Baby Yodas? Or, you know, maybe something else like those Stand By the Pirate with the bandana and the eye patch on him? I don't know. There's lots of options kind of thing. And going out into town, trick-or-treating, maybe folks is throwing parties. Rusty Tidwell got a party. And I'll tell you a little bit about that. But, hey, you know, I hope you're having a Halloween. And if you don't celebrate Halloweens, I hope you have a great October 31st. And if today's your birthday, well, happy birthday. I hope it's a hoot of a time. I mean, that's a beautiful thing. It's your birthday because you can go knock on strangers' doors and they ain't weird about it and they'll hand you candy. That'll work out for that's like a win-win the way I see it. Well, y'all know this week I was giving away a Bank Beanie and Tavin's maple syrup from trees. Like one giveaway. You enter that, you might win them both. Well, you will win them both if you're the winner because they giving both of them getting sent out together kind of thing. And so we had a winner this week, and I announced that on Friday, October the 27th, so this past week. Getting that in. Thank y'all for entering, and the Bank Beanie is available now for the winter's times, the fall's times, to keep your ears warm. And so is the maple syrup from trees, because I figure folks is eating breakfast all year long. And some of us, you know, quite a few of us, eat that for the suppers times too. So you knocking out 2 meals some days with that syrup, the way I see it. I hope you're liking the podcast. I've been getting feedback. I got feedback, you know, this month. Susan McMaster reached out to me in an email, said thanks for making us all laugh and feel like we're part of your world. She loved every episode kind of thing. I think that's what, now I'm listening to your podcast. Oh, maybe she loved every episode on the Instagram. Now she's listening to the podcast and she's glad about that. But thanks, Susan. And then Jennifer Williams messaged me too, sent an email about how much she's enjoying the podcast, appreciates it. So, well, I appreciate y'all listening to it. I know y'all got lots to do, busy lives, a lot of work to do, a lot of family and friends and things to handle. So I'm glad you include me in some of that. So if you do want to share it with somebody, please do. You can leave a comment. I see them comments on Spotify now and on Apple iTunes. You can rate it there and share it and all that kind of thing. And, you know, we trucking right along here. This is the 6th episode of Season 8, and I got a lot of Halloween to talk about. And I'm still doing those personal greeting promos, you know, the videos. If you need like a greeting for somebody's birthday, I tell them happy birthday, that kind of thing. So you'll see all that in the show notes today. The Bank Beanie, Tavin's maple syrup from trees, personal video greetings, and I'll put a link to all the shirts. Got a couple new shirts coming out here directly, so just keep an eye out for that. I had a little change of plans though. You know how it is where you got plans. You're like, well, this is my schedule. This is what I'm getting done today. And all of a sudden, you realize you live in a world with other people, and they got ideas too. And then sometimes what you had planned gets interrupted like that away. And that's okay. I mean, it can be okay. I guess how you handle it's probably what makes it worse or better, this kind of thing. But I was hoping, you know, this Halloween's, I ain't really settled on it. Yeah, I'm a full-grown man now, so I ain't been dressing up for Halloween's as much here lately, but I'll, you know, get on a pumpkin helmet and, you know, say, hey, how's it going, y'all guys? But Rusty Tidwell, he live on the outside of town, and he's throwing a Halloween's party. So most of the fellas from Team Burger Shed was going to be out there, and, you know, they families and all that kind of thing. So it's going to be a hoot, and I was all ready to do it. And, you know, Cricket, she come back and forth on her schedule. She don't always know, and sometimes things come up, like I say. You know, and this is where our story begins today, as they say in Spain. There's a Halloween's, you know, lot of different things in town. Your friends got parties. Well, Some people's workplaces have parties, and Cricket works where? That's right, she works at the nursing home. So what's happening? The nursing home Halloween festival, they do that every year, you know, and it's like, well, let's march up and down a mess hall dressed like a spooky ghost or whatever, and you know, have some little treats and stuff and all that kind of thing. Well, Cricket ended up having to work down there. I'm not saying it's like a big town event, but it's a big event if you live inside them walls of that nursing home. So I'll tell you this, let me just start with Dewey Morton. Ended up on a riding lawnmower behind Thunder Punch, dressed like a bear. Where did he get the bear costume? Where did he get the riding lawnmower? Why did he end up at Thunder Punch? I'm going to answer all these in order, so just be ready. Here's what happened. There's a costume store, and they donated all kind of stuff last week. Like all kind of things. You know, it's like, well, you got stuff that you're getting rid of, and you think, well, who uses this? Is there some sort of organization, some sort of group, some sort of club, some sort of jump rope team, I don't know, that can, you know, use this stuff that we getting rid of that we ain't going to use? Well, they donated all this stuff to the nursing home. Because, like I said, the nursing home, they got events all year long. They got all kinds of events for every holiday and things that aren't holidays. And they got crafts every season of the year, you know, from winters to springs to summers to now we into falls. They do plays. You might know they had a Pioneer Day down there before. They do all of that. So Dewey, anyway, if you know anything about Dewey Morton, he the original prankster. He's like the biggest prankster inside the nursing home. And then you got Millie Ricks, and she's probably the biggest prankster in town outside the nursing home. Well, Dewey found a costume in a storeroom closet with all them donations. So, you know, he's just getting into stuff because he finds ways to either hide, you know, scare the staff because they don't know where he went, or he do try to escape, or he do, you know, little tricks and things. You know, he's been under the ping pong table in the rec room. He tried to shuffle under a Credible Hulk blanket, put under that and shuffle out the front door like nobody's going to see a Credible Hulk blanket just walking out of the nursing home. And I used the word walking lightly. I mean, he was shuffling like he's trying to be real snaky about it. So he found his way into a storeroom closet. You don't really ask about that. Like, yeah, of course he would. So nobody's like, how in the world did he get into that closet? Well, he poke around places and get into the doors. I guess it wasn't locked anyhow. And he found them donations. Well, P.J. McGee, you might know about him. He works for the city. He got sick at the City Fields at one time. I was out there just taking a break at the park, and he was taking a break from mowing the park grass. And he went in there, and he had a sandwich or something that he set down. And I just thought he'd be right back. Well, he didn't come back for a while. You know, I was out there eating too, and I thought, boy, I should go check on PJ. Well, I'm telling you right now, I mean, I ain't never seen nothing like this in my life. PJ McGee was cheek down on that concrete floor of that park bathroom underneath one of them urinals. He'd fall asleep. And boy, I yelled in there, PJ, like that away. Nothing. I yelled there, PJ. And that's when I walked in there and I seen him. And I was like, PJ, you dead? Kind of thing. Turns out he wasn't dead, but he just kind of opened eye. He goes, Tabin, it's so cool down here. You know, I just need to cool off a little bit. I mean, you know you sick. And he'd already throwed up and everything. If you got to press your cheek against a concrete park bathroom floor underneath the urinal, I mean, you know you feel sick. So PJ, boy, he know how to power through, though. And he's working for the city. He had a city mower, and he parked that thing outside the nursing home to go visit his aunt. That's Rydell McGee. You may know her. Anyways, he in there to visit her. So that's how a riding lawnmower ended up on the property of the nursing home. Now, you probably saying, well, why in the world did that said riding lawnmower didn't end up at Coach Hicks' boxing gym, Thunder Punch? He running a fall deal right now, so he getting some new people in there that, you know, they done broke their New Year's resolution from the big end of the year, but now they already looking ahead like, boy, here come the holidays with Thanksgiving and Christmas, and he trying to capitalize on, you know, folks is like, boy, I don't want to gain 20 pounds over them holidays. Maybe I can get a little workout regimen or lose 20 now. That way I can gain it back, you know, in November, December. I don't know, but anyways, he running all kind of deals that don't matter no how. Dewey kept saying speed bag. People kept hearing Dewey say around the nursing home, speed bag. So it seemed like he wanted to work the old speed bag. And that's when, you know, them boxers, they punch. the bag, and it rattles back, and then you hit it and you hit it and you hit it, and them real good boxers make it go real fast like that away. And he drove himself. So apparently, they put speed bag together, and then he's dressed like a bear because that's what he got into that closet. And I don't know if he thought, like, boy, I could escape from the nursing home, because they know there ain't no bears that live here, so they probably want to see a bear drive away or run away from the nursing home because they don't want him near. I don't know. I ain't in the mind of Dewey Morton. Don't really want to be. But I do know he was dressed like a bear. Now, the thing about the bear thing is it's got little places you can see out of. I mean, you can look at that costume, so he can see front ways. Dewey is up there in age, so I don't know how good his eyesight is, and I don't know that he knows. And I'm pretty sure he don't really care. He's going to drive anyway. So here he is, motoring down, and I don't know how fast that, what that riding lawnmower blade up tops out at, but it wasn't going too fast. But that's the thing. I mean, that's when you start putting together the pieces and you're thinking, well, who wasn't watching him? And then who wasn't watching him long enough to get on a riding lawnmower and to get out of the parking lot of the nursing home and then head up that 2-lane. I mean, you got to do some work to get over the Thunder Punch. So there's a lot, and it's not like he sped over there in a Corvette, at 80 mile an hour. Like, I mean, he might be going 12 mile an hour downhill. I don't know. So Coach Hicks, though, thing about him is he ain't flustered. He see a bear drive up on a riding lawnmower and he think, well, what do we got to deal with here? He's seen it all. I mean, he's led a water aerobics class with my Meemaw and Mabel Childress enrolled in the thing at the same time. So you can imagine being a head lifeguard at a city pool. I mean, he managed the Long John Silver in the county next door years ago. You managed the Long John Silver, boy, there ain't pretty much nothing you ain't seen. Folks asking for tartar sauce for French fries. Folks asking if they can, like, get some of that vinegar and dip their fish in it, but then they want a little bit to put in their Dr. Pepper, stir it around because it's good for their shrimp. I mean, he gets some weird questions. He gets some weird people, wanting all kind of things. And plus, he's a PE coach for the high school. He's my high school PE coach. So, I mean, he talked to a lot of people with a lot of bad ideas, and nothing surprises him no more. Coach Hicks wears boots just about everywhere he go. I mean, you think as an athlete he'd be like wearing them like jogging shoes? Usually not. I think if he running he is, but if he just dressed in his swim trunks, he got them cowboy boots with no socks and coffee grounds in them. He said the coffee grounds eats up the stink. But boy, when he pulls his foot out of them boots, I mean, he got toes covered in coffee grounds. Boy, it looked like it looked like, I don't know what it looked like. He'd been walking through mud, I guess. So anyhow, Dewey was getting hot in that bear costume, and he's, parked it behind Thunder Punch, I guess, to go in and work that speed bag. Nobody really know. It didn't get to that point because Coach Hicks helped him shut off the riding lawnmower. He wasn't sure how to do that. Now, I don't know why P.J. McGee idled a riding lawnmower outside of the thing, because I think it shut off automatically once you get off it. So maybe Dewey did crank it back up. These are all questions I don't have to answer to. Like, some of this still is a little bit of a Hardy Boys Scooby-Doo hijinks mystery. Like, how in the world did some of this happen? But I know the main points. I mean, I know who done it. How they did it, I ain't sure. So Coach Hicks called PJ because he knowed right away when he seen that city mower, oh, that's the one PJ McGee uses to mow them city fields and them city properties kind of thing. And then Coach Hicks put Dewey in his double cab, in the bear costume, because I don't know what Dewey had on under that thing, and I think Coach Hicks was thinking the same thing, because I don't want him to get out of that thing in case he's naked in there. Then Coach Hicks looks like he's in trouble, like kidnapping a naked nursing home resident or something. So these are the things you think about. Well, he drove Dewey back to the nursing home, that double cab, got air conditioning in it, and it ain't been so hot lately, but if you've been inside a bear costume riding a lawnmower, you might be hotter than most folks. Well, it's all fun in bear costumes till you see that nursing home let somebody escape. So you can imagine the shame they felt when Coach Hicks is walking one of their residents back into the front door that they shouldn't have got out of in the first place. They actually weren't as embarrassed as you'd think they were, because they were surprised that that's the first time he made it off the nursing home grounds. many times that he tried. So, I mean, that's glass half full, I guess, if you're the nursing home, in the sense that, well, I mean, Dewey tries, 4 times a week, and he been here for however many years, and he ain't never made it that far. So, he was probably due for a win kind of thing. But glass half empty is, hey, you in charge of a feller that got away. So he has had, I don't know how many attempts, but Dewey Morton, I mean, can we just agree that he's sneaky? So Coach Hicks brings down an old speed bag that he got from, from his gym that he wasn't using, and he puts it up in the recreation room in a nursing home. That's the same room as the ping pong table, Dewey might hide under. So Dewey has a speed bag now down at the nursing home to punch, so he ain't got to dress like a bear and escape on a riding lawnmower to get down to Thunder Punch to work their speed bag. And plus, he ain't allowed to get off the property unless a family member, pick him up and take him, but he can't just be there on his own. That's the rules. But he do have to share that speed bag too. Like if somebody else wants to come punch it, like Doreen Fundle or Elmore Fisdale or any of them residents, they got a right to go punch that speed bag too, and can't Dewey say nothing about it to him. He have to share it. Well, Cricket, the thing about Cricket, she working there, so you may think, boy, she got to be rebellious. She worked at the nursing home. Dewey Morton escaped, and he make everybody look foolish, and there's some truth to that. And truth be told, Cricket did feel pretty bad, but she wasn't particularly assigned to Dewey alone. Like, if you work there, you got to keep an eye out for everybody, but she was specifically put on Doreen Fundle duty. So she was, if we look at it that way, she didn't let Doreen get nowhere. And she did feel bad because, he could have been hurt, but he wasn't. And I told her, since he already got into them donations, we might as well get them all out. I mean, it's the Halloweens, right? If there's a bunch of costume donations out there, might as well dress them up, make some lemonades out of these lemons, kind of thing. Make bear sausage out of this bear. I don't know how they do it. But anyway, so we did. And now we at the nursing home. I'm down there. Cricket had called me just about helped with this parade. But, then all this stuff happened with Dewey. Next thing you know, that's my day. And that's okay. So folks dressed up. Doreen Fundle was a pickle. Now, I don't know what kind of pickle, but I wouldn't call her a sweet pickle the way she's acting. She got ideas for everybody, and she want to boss people around, and she'll still yell and tell people she's Santa Claus. I'm like, well, you ain't dressed up like him, right? Because she got that in her mind, she dressed up like Santa Claus around Christmas time and threatened not to give people their gifts and that kind of thing. But she's a pickle for the Halloweens. Captain Thunderboots, that's her goldfish. He hates Halloween, she said. She goes, he hates Halloween, and I can sneak by him. No, I can walk by him in my room dressed like a pickle, and he won't get mad because goldfish can't see pickles. Pickles are invisible to goldfish, is the way she put it. I'm thinking, what pickle science book have you read, Doreen, where a goldfish can't see pickles? But that's what made sense in her head, I guess, so she could be dressed up and just walk by into the bathroom to her room. Now, how she used the bathroom in that pickle costume, that ain't for me to ever care about knowing. But I will say that she would walk by. I think it's to make herself feel better, don't feel bad that she didn't include or even invite or even try to make Captain Thunderboots participate in the festivities of the Halloweens. And the way you get away with that and say, oh, he hates Halloween. But he can see me celebrating, or I can walk by him in my costume celebrating because pickles are invisible to goldfish. That's what she said. Vera Gregory, she ended up being a ninja. She in a wheelchair full time, but she can dress like a ninja. And then you roll her down the hallway. It looks like she's floating. Like one of them ninjas, just like they gliding through there, about to karate chop you in the neck kind of thing. Roundhouse you to the vertebrae. Cricket, she was a hunter. Now, vest, waders, all that. She got all that gear herself because she hunt, but I could have been some of her granddaddies. I went hunting with him last week. And by hunt, I mean basically, a nature tour. We did a nature tour of what he thinks is a deaf deer that we don't know how he's going to take down with a headlock or a figure four or, I don't know, full Nelson. But she was, it was an orange vest and then them green waders. And then she had a hat on too, orange hat. And I was a softball player, so I just had on my Team Burger Shed gear. That worked because I like to wear that anyway, and I did look like a softball player. And don't matter that I really am a softball player, and not just any softball player, but I'm part of the championship team. It's not a big deal, but boy, we still riding that wave. I'll tell you that. So Rusty Tidwell, he did have his big party out at his house. Now, before we got to that, though, I had to help with that parade down the hallway, and that went all the way down the hallway into the mess hall, and then it ended up there with some candy, and they had a few little games and that kind of thing. They wanted to do bobbing for apples, but sometime with a nursing home, so many of them got them fake teeth, them dentures. They go to try to gobble them, and they end up maybe in the apple, but the apple end up still in the bowl, and then the teeth is out. And so you got to be careful with that. So they had to figure out different. They end up being like try to get an apple slice off a plate or something like they cut it for you. So there was some of that going on. There was sweet tarts, them apples dipped in caramel. I guess if you bite it off the plate or you get it from bobbing the apple, you can take it over to the caramel station and then, really dress it up kind of thing. So there was plenty of candy. Nobody went home without enough candy. And by home, I mean back to their rooms at the nursing home. And then Cricket and I missed most of Rusty's party. But who cares? At the end of the day, I was just happy to help her out and help the nursing home out this Halloween. We got to spend some time together. Dewey Morton, of course, did what he did, and we had a pretty good time. So I think Rusty, the way I see it, there's so much candy got out this week, like they gonna be sharing it with any of the residents, not the residents, but like the businesses in town. Like Bud's gonna have a bowl of candy on the counter right there where you order at the burger shed. Donut Goes is going to have candy. I mean, insult to injury, right? You go in there morning for breakfast just for apple frittler or something for your standard strength for today in your haunches, and all of a sudden there's a candy bowl too, and boy, you really doubling up. So I mean, I think that's where Coach Hicks is really trying to, move in on the business this season, where he put these little them Thunder Punch cards, on the counter at Burger Shed and down at Maggie's Flowers and Donut Goes and Early Bird Gets the Perm. You put them at the Sonic, all them places in town where folks go, and then all of a sudden they're like, boy, do I want this piece, this fun-size Snicker bars, or do I want this Thunder Punch card, and I can go and maybe get a free lesson and exercise, heading into the holidays. So the thing about it is, in my town, you got options. If you need strength in your haunches, Donut Goes is right there. And then obviously you can get your bacon anywhere. You can get it down at Rickard's grocery store. You get Tavin's bacon bag. I'll put a link for that in the show notes today too. But I mean, there's all kind of opportunities to have strength you need to get after what you got to get done. Now you may think, well, Tavin, it sounds like Meemaw was curiously absent from all the Halloween festivities. Well, I was not with her. I was at the nursing home. Meemaw stayed home with her porch light on and did not hand out green walnuts this year, but it's almost like a threat. Like, my light's on. Come on, kiddos, knock. See what you're going to get. And if they did knock on Meemaw's trailer door in Chancellor Park this Halloween, what they ended up with was an unsharpened pencil. So it wasn't a green walnut, at least something you could have ate last year, but this thing, you can't eat a pencil, and I don't think anything frustrates a kiddo more than getting a school supply on Halloween. Like you went all through and you dressed up like a little Pokemans or whatever, or Transformer kind of thing, or some sort of goblin, and my Meemaw answered the door and drop an unsharpened pencil in your bag. So that's insult to injury. Unless you just got stuff to erase, you got to go find a pencil sharpener now. But that was what was going on at mine. And then Brett showed up at my brother, and this ain't the first time. I mean, it's pretty standard. He'll show up with candy, and it's like, Brett, you way too old to be trick-or-treating. Well, he'll snatch bags. My brother Brett's a bag snatcher. And the only thing about it, he done it so much every year, families just show up at Chancellor Park, and they either knocking on my trailer door or Meemaw's, because Brett will try to hide in one of our places, and they say, hey, this is the kid, the bag or the pillowcase that my kid had to get candy in. Can you see if it ended up here? And all of a sudden, when I get back to my trailer in Chancellor Park, I'm handing out candy, but it ain't candy that I bought to hand out to trick-or-treaters. It's candy my brother Brett stole from trick-or-treaters, and they trying to get it back. So I just opened the door. Oh, yeah, you had the Superman pillowcase? Here you go. Thanks for being a part of our Halloween festivities here in Chancellor Park. And then Brett, he'd leave, and he'd come back, and he'd mad that his candy's gone. I'm like, Brett, I headed it back to the kids you stole it from. He goes, well, I had to work for that. I said, well, you're going to have to go work for real and make a little money and then go down to Rickard's grocery store and buy your own snacks and sundries and dry goods and candies kind of thing. So that was that. I mean, I found a couple sweet tarts in my pocket left over from the Nursin Home festival. I handed over to Brett, but I mean, they wasn't in a wrapper or nothing like that. They was loose in there. So anything else in my pocket touched it. Could have been, nickels or lint or that kind of thing, or Thunder punch card. So that's how it kind of wound up. I ended up finally, back at Chancellor Park, trying to get a little rest, because now we into the Novembers. I mean, now we into the Novembers, y'all guys. And it was a hoot about Octobers. And like I say, we got a couple shirts coming up I'm working on a possum peg leg shirt, from my dream about the possum with a peg leg. And then we also working on a crow with a funyun shirt. You ever seen a crow with a funyun? I don't know how many times I have. So I put it on a shirt. But them is coming up. But if you just wanted to share this podcast, I sure hope you do today. And you can check the show notes, like I said, for all them things that we got going on. I mean, we got the Bank Beanie. We got Tavin's Maple Syrup from Treats. We got Tavin's Bacon Bag. We got all the other shirts you can check out if you want to. The Team Burger Shed 2023 shirt. Roster on the back. Or you don't have to have none of that. I'm just glad you coming and hanging out with me. That way, if you're like, boy, I just want something else, there's options. But if this is all you need today, hey, I sure appreciate you feeling the need to come and listen to the Tavin Dillard Podcast, Season 8, Episode 6. Hello, Novembers, peeking over the horizon there. Thank y'all for being a part of this journey with me. I sure am glad you dropped into Chancellor Park this week to hang out, and I hope the rest of your week is the best ever. If you could comment and share and subscribe to this podcast, I'll appreciate it. Like I said, check them show notes for all that's going on. And hey, if Dewey Morton ain't showed up behind your boxing gym dressed like a bear driving a riding lawnmower, you having a pretty good week. Me, I'm Tavin Dillard. This is a Tavin Dillard Podcast. Till next time, y'all guys, we'll see you later.